Hey, folks. Sorry, a couple minutes late, but that's okay. Work, the real world work sometimes gets in the way of the fun and entertaining sports talk, wrestling talk, whatever that may be. Stu Myrick here from the Horn as we get ready for tonight's show. We're going to record the whole show tonight, so no interviews in the can this week. We are efforting Sammy Guevara, who we've had on countless times. I don't think we've had him on since he's been with AEW, so it'd be good to catch up with Sammy, but hopefully that'll come in the next week or two. Tonight, we will recap. Oh, my cube's down here because I always take it off when I do Longhorn Lowdown, so give me 1 second. Hope this doesn't sound too horrible as I put the mic cube back on. There goes. Okay. There we go. All right. And we're back. So, turn this down just a hair. So anyway, we'll recap Clash of Champions. I don't mind saying, surprisingly, a pretty good pay-per-view. For what we had seen, SmackDown's been holding its own, had some good stuff. Raw, unfortunately, has not. But coming together for Clash of Champions, pretty good. I'm sure everybody will say, and I will heartily agree, the match of the night was the triple threat ladder match. Sami Zayn regaining the Intercontinental Championship from Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles in that ladder match. I saw somebody, a friend of mine, I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody I knew, tweeting that they couldn't believe, I think it was Joe Roderick. I think it was our friend Joe Roderick from St. Louis, retweeting out that couldn't believe Jeff Hardy was pulling off all those jumps and such and doing ladder matches like he's done always, and he's 43 years old. And yeah, it's crazy to see his older brother Matt, who has been doing it, just as long. We saw the most recent, All Out, that tumble he did off the scissor lift, and yet these guys, they keep doing it. So I get a feeling Matt Hardy might start toning it down a bit just for the sake of, saving what's left of his body after all these years. We're there. I think they've got to be going on 30 years now in the wrestling business between their stints in WWE and Impact and their brief. Well, Matt was in Ring of Honor for some time, but the brothers were briefly in Ring of Honor, and now, Matt with AEW and Jeff still with WWE. So, but yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. So, let's see what else. We've got NXT TakeOver to preview right now as we speak. 4 matches. Now, of course, we are taping this on Tuesday. By the time this show hits the airwaves on the Horn tomorrow night, they may have added a 5th match, or they may just wait and add one suddenly on Sunday. It is this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the WWE Network. I suspect it'll be from Full Sail. Although we've heard rumblings that they may do it at the Thunderdome at Amway Center. I don't. The Thunderdome, to me, and again, I'm not the typical wrestling fan. I freely admit I am much older. But the Thunderdome, it's like, okay, that's cute. Now what? It's okay. Give me good in-ring action, and I'll watch that in an empty parking lot. So, anyway, we'll talk about that. Saw a couple things on Raw last night. Raw was not nearly as bad as it was last week. That's try to be worse than last week. That would have taken some doing. That last week's Raw was, that was bad. But this week's was a little bit better. I will admit I was splitting my attention between that and Monday Night Football with Chiefs and Ravens, just because you don't miss out when you see the Super Bowl MVP and the league MVP from the previous year face each other, and it's what you expected. A lot of good scoring, some good defense. In the end, Chiefs win. Patrick Mahomes. It is truly amazing to see what he has become in the short time he has been in the NFL. So, hats off to him. Let's see what else. Didn't bone up on G1 Climax from New Japan. Guess I could see if I can pull that up. Let's see. New Japan's English website is great, but their it doesn't like iPads for some reason. So, let's see. All right, well, we can do this at least. Right now, of course, Toriano is still undefeated. He is finding ways to get through it. Toriano and Naito undefeated so far, 3-0. You've got Juice Robinson 2-1, Kenta at 2-1, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Zack Sabre Jr. and Evil at 1-2. Kind of surprised Evil. And then who is it? Sonata, still winless, 0-3. So far he has faced Goto, Toriano, and Yoshihashi. So he's got some catching up to do, quite frankly. Let's see if I can get A Block. Let's see. 97. Not seeing. Night 7. Well, okay, so I think Night 7 was like. Hold on, let's go back here. Okay, so Night 7 is like in a few hours. In other words, bell time is 6:30 p.m. in Tokyo at Korakuen Hall. That'd be good. The matches right now, you've got A Block Suzuki taking on Yujiro Takahashi. You got Kota Ibushi taking on Jeff Cobb. Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, taking on Taichi. You've got Will Ospreay facing Switchblade Jay White. And the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii, taking on Shingo Takagi. So those are your A Block matches starting in, let's see, that'd be 6:30, so it's probably going to be around, I don't know, 2:30 a.m. our time. So in about, like I said, in about 5, 6, 7 hours. So, and that'll be at Korakuen Hall. I don't see a, let's see. Well, maybe this one. Nope. That's not it. All right. Well, anyway, so, still early. Still a little bit early. So, let's see what else. So, anyway. Oh, and New Japan changed leadership. Did you hear about this? So, Harold Mage, I think that's how you pronounce his name, is no longer the president and CEO of New Japan Pro Wrestling. There was a meeting of the board of directors for the parent company, Bushiroad, parent company of both New Japan and Stardom. They have brought in Takami Obari, who is the current NJPW of America CEO. Kind of interesting about that. with the development of NJPW of America, the stuff they're doing on NJPW World with Lions Break and the NJPW Strong that we've seen on NJPW World, taping it in Los Angeles. You wonder if this is in response to the fact that New Japan still does not have an actual TV deal with an American network. You know, they lost the deal to Access when Impact Wrestling's parent company, who's that I'm thinking? Anyway, when they bought out Access TV, Anthem Sports Entertainment. So when they bought Access TV and decided to put Impact, New Japan said, no, we're not going to do that. New Japan's still mad about how they treated Okada and Nakamura and some of the other then New Japan stars years ago when they were still TNA. So we'll see what happens with that. It's interesting shift in leadership. And I wonder what we will see out of it going forward. You know, they had we had night one of the G1 Climax last year in Dallas, which despite it was only like 5,000 fans, but it was still a pretty good crowd for being in Dallas, Texas. And they've had some success on the West Coast. So you wonder if maybe this is another step in New Japan's global expansion. Because, and admittedly, the COVID-19 pandemic definitely shut down all expansion plans back in February, March. I guess February, because they really started clamping down in Japan in like January, February, long before the U.S. did. So it's so I'm wondering if maybe this has something to do with it. I mean, we'll see. It's we'll see what comes of it. What else? There's been some other, just various different things. What did I just see? Hold on. ACH versus Leo Rush announced for Joey Janela Spring Break 4. Interesting. Joey Janela Leo Rush is allegedly retired. He's going to focus on his music. Not to mention, you got two guys that have both been released by WWE under, shall I say, less than amicable circumstances. So this is going to be next weekend, October 9th. The Janela event scheduled for Saturday, October 10th. So this is the rescheduled collective event that was supposed to happen in Tampa over WrestleMania weekend. I believe these are the ones that were going to happen. I think they're going to happen in Indianapolis. Right now, Joey Janela's Spring Break will include Joey Janela taking on Ricky Morton, yes, of the Rock and Roll Express, the Hall of Famers. You'll also have the 4th annual Cluster F Battle Royal. You can figure out that as Justin Simmons walks in with his long sleeve shirt, because it's a tad. It's not as hot nowadays.
It's gonna be hot tomorrow, Stu.
It's gonna be hot tomorrow. Hot tamale? Is that what we're doing? No.
Nah, man.
No.
I don't like those.
Pretty nice flowers, nice Hawaiian flowers on your T-shirt.
Do you like hot tamales?
I like tamales. I don't like them spicy.
No, not not those hot tamales. The candy. That's what I thought you were talking
cinnamon,
about.
yeah,
See,
I like those. I lean towards Mike and Ike, but
I don't.
sorry, I don't There you go.
believe that.
I lean towards the fruit better, but
Really?
yeah.
Never
But
really-
I do like hot tamales.
I don't think I've ever had.
Mike and Ike's,
Yeah.
really, I get them all the time. Especially at theaters. But
Well, I can't. Remember
and now I
the
get them
last time.
HEB. HEB's got them for
But it's
like
not
$1.
the same, right? I mean, even though they're cheaper.
No, they are
it's-
the same. It's fine. I'll tell you.
No,
Because
they're
when I go to movie theater, I'm going to Alamo, so I'm getting something other than candy. And well, I do get popcorn there because they serve it in the big metal bowl with butter,
But-
real butter.
See, everything tastes better at the movie theater.
Popcorn does, yes. And candy, yeah. But if I'm at Alamo Drafthouse, I'm gonna order something, from their menu. Their chicken sandwich is really good. I enjoy it, and of course the wide selection of beer, good beers, independent beers, including Independence Brewing. They usually have plenty of Stash IPA or Native Texan or Austin Amber. So,
are we really angling for that beer sponsorship today?
Hey, Rob and Amy at Independence, come talk to me. How you been?
Oh, busy.
Dude, I was just telling. I was like, finished up work today. Tuesdays for my work, my real work, is always crazy because I have conference calls late.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to do reports and send them up to our executive team. And today was just hammered. I didn't get done with that till like 6:15 and 8. And then I had to create a rejoin because I realized we don't have a rejoin for this guy. So create a rejoin for Stu Bennett, now Wade Barrett, back to being Wade Barrett.
Oh, that's right. He's Wade.
And
Barrett
I've done one for each. I've done one for Stu Bennett and for Wade Barrett. Now it's all it is. I just edited a little bit.
That's still good initiative, though.
Because
you just never know in this crazy business.
Well, he is now part of the NXT commentary team. We're going to talk NXT TakeOver in the second segment, so why not? What else? And then just kind of scurrying around, and by the time I looked up, it was like 7:50. I'm watching Dark. I'm watching AEW Dark. Our AEW correspondent, the Natural, Dustin Rhodes. With his Natural Nightmares partner, QT Marshall, whooping up on John Silver and who was it? Who's the other one? It was two guys from the Dark Order, John Silver and I don't know, somebody.
See, it kind of works.
It's still 100 times better than Retribution. In fact, I will go so far as saying the really bad Dark Order that we saw like in December with what's his name, missing the punches on Dustin on purpose.
Well,
that's still better than what we were seeing from Retribution.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Because Retribution, it still doesn't make sense.
It never. I mean, technically speaking, none of this is ever supposed to make sense.
No, it's supposed to make a little. It's supposed to have a little bit. You don't have to suspend all disbelief.
But, man, I don't know. I'm willing to give everybody a hard pass this year just because of COVID. I mean, because it still is wrecking issues.
Okay, COVID-19 has nothing to do with bad writing.
It does affect the product in the sense that you might not have the people that you thought you were going to have available to you, so you have to lean more on these gimmicks like a Retribution as opposed to going more towards actual storyline with people that you probably have things actually set up for.
And again, I say you didn't have to create this group that causes chaos, but only on one brand and, not on pay-per-views and not on, again, Donovan Dijak would have been just fine as Dominic Dijakovic. Mia Yim would have been just fine as Mia Yim.
But would they?
Sure.
Like, don't you think that the roster, I feel like they would run into the same problem that EC3 was running into when he was trying to break through on the main roster. It's just that, he's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Then don't send him to the main roster. Keep him in NXT. We've heard multiple times about plenty of NXT wrestlers wanting to stay with NXT.
It's understandable, but it seems like the big money would be on Raw.
Sure, big money is.
And it's a different style.
And I totally get it. You're getting a big paycheck to do a stupid gimmick. And plenty of wrestlers have done it in the past. I get it. That's fine. I feel for these people that have to be saddled with a silly gimmick in order to get a big paycheck.
Well, yeah, but everybody has to do something that they don't want to do sometimes.
I know that.
Right?
I know.
And it works. And there can only be one star. There can only be one top champion.
I'm not asking them. I'm not telling them put the belt on Dijak. I'm just saying let him Let him be Dijak. Let him be the big man. You don't have enough big men in on the main roster. Let him be another big guy. Use him on occasion. I just
I see where you're trying to go with it, and I agree to a certain degree, but I'm like, it feels like he would still be too bland for that roster. Like he wouldn't be able to stand out on a Raw or on a SmackDown.
Okay,
he would need a gimmick.
That's fine. Give us something that has an ounce of logic in it. Because so far I have seen nothing from Retribution that spells logic. Nothing. They come in, they cause chaos, so what do? You give them contracts. They want to cause chaos on WWE, but they're only doing it on Raw, so SmackDown's safe. So if I go to SmackDown, I'm not going to be bothered by Retribution. If, it just it's just and let's not get into the names. Let's not, the fact that they had to name him T-Bag, I mean T-Bar.
We've already agreed that the names were fantastic.
No, we did not agree that. I'm going to start calling you Skip, as in Bayless, Mr. Flamethrower. So anyway, but yeah. Anyway, so let's get going. We're going to recap Clash. We'll may even talk a little. I got to reset everything. Yeah, I have to change it up, so, because Tuesday nights do this. Mm-hmm. Wednesday nights I do Longhorn Lowdown, which is totally different setup. The camera's usually right in front of me because, it's just me and it's Stevie Lee and Todd Hunt and whoever. Last week had so much fun talking to Roy Williams from a Longhorn wide receiver.
Yeah.
Spent what 8 seasons in the NFL, Cowboys, Lions, and somebody who was the third one. Maybe been Saints. Anyway, had a great conversation
Sounds
with him.
about right.
The pride of Odessa Permian comes from Cujo, or Mojo. Excuse me, Cujo was Tyler. Mojo is Odessa Permian. Mm-hmm. So all right. So let's do this
Just
thing.
lost all the fans from Odessa.
No, Midland. Midland's their Odessa Permian's fine. Yeah. Midland Lee's their main rival.
Yeah. Odessa's the Mojo.
No, Odessa Permian is Mojo.
Yes.
Because there is Odessa High School.
Oh, I know.
But there's also Odessa Permian. And then Permian's main rival is Midland Lee.
Yeah.
And we did talk about the fact that he had to play a Midland Lee coach on Friday Night Lights. The movie.
Yes, I recall him stating that before, too.
But he was happy. He wanted to be on the movie. He didn't care.
Of course.
So, all right. It'd be like me wearing Gilmer Buckeye colors, which are the same as Claywater Bear colors, but we digress.
I was going to say, they're similar colors.
Yeah, same colors, orange and black. All right, let's do this.
This is WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Remember, if you're going to do it with Flair. Woo!
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons, with some beautiful Hawaiian. I forget. They're not lotuses, but they're
hibiscus flowers.
Yes, thank you. I just had dinner from had delivery from Hawaiian Brothers, and they do the traditional Hawaiian plate lunches and stuff.
Where's
really
the
good.
nearest one to you?
I don't know, but
there's
it's
one
close enough to be delivered by DoorDash. So
really,
it was very good. Teriyaki chicken, some rice, some macaroni salad.
There's one across the street from where I live, so I was like,
maybe that's it.
I guess maybe it came from there. It's not too far, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a short drive.
Yeah, brought back some memories from.
Well, that's good.
30 plus years ago. So, we've been talking about how unwatchable Raw has been the last few weeks. SmackDown, not so bad. I tell you what, I will admit, I was surprised. Clash was actually pretty good.
See, this is where we differ, because it's like, while it's not terrific television. I've been entertained. And it's like, I already know how bad it can get, so it doesn't bother me. Again, it all comes back to how you view the WWE product.
This is true.
No, but it
I get
really,
that.
but it really, really does. And I've been shocked to hear when you tell me it's like, oh, I watch it just like I watched any pro wrestling. And I'm like, no, I can't do that anymore in this day and age. Everybody's taste is so different, and there's so many different styles that cater towards more specific styles of wrestling that I go in knowing that this is particularly a television show about a wrestling company.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do that a little more, although
makes
it is harder.
It makes it so
It's-
much more pleasant to watch, honestly.
And I totally get that. It's kind of that old saying, trying to teach an old dog new tricks. I've been watching. First time I saw WWF at the time, maybe right after. No, it was right before Hogan won the belt from Sheik. Maybe right before that.
So like
83.
The Bob Backlund years. 'Cause he was
Iron
champion-
Sheik was the champion at the time. I didn't see Backlund as champion. I think I was still discovering, like I was still just watching Mid-South at the time. So, but anyway,
Well,
yeah,
see,
Clash
that's-
was good though.
That's weird though, because it's like I've only seen WWF, and then I had to go back, and of course I saw WCW, NWA stuff, but like
Yeah.
I don't have any of those memories that you're like, oh, Mid-South, oh, the territories, oh, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
caught like the very end of World Class.
Right. I get that. But yeah, Clash was pretty good. I enjoyed. Now, I will admit I was splitting my attention because I was hosting the Horns Super Bowl. Wow, not yet. Sunday Night Football watch party. The Horn NFL Alumni Austin chapter. We've been doing these watch parties for Sunday Night Football. So it was me and Chad Hastings and Aaron Hogan and Jermichael Finley, lifetime
Yeah.
Longhorn,
I saw
former
that.
Packers tight end great. It was a lot of fun talking to him for the first half and
Oh,
getting some stories.
I was gonna say I imagine the stories must have been pretty good,
Yeah.
especially coming from ex-pro.
It was. Well, and Jermichael and I have visited at the Super Bowl. We've talked every year at the Super Bowl. So it was good to chat with him. He's up in Aledo with his family and, helping his kids in sports and stuff. So if you did not, and I'm sure you watched the pay-per-view, so you know that they had to cancel 2 matches due to, we'll just say, medical issues. They did not specify, and for legal reasons, that's probably very warranted. But the news came out Sunday, just a few hours before the pay-per-view started, that Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Nikki Cross were not medically cleared. So they could not participate in the pay-per-view, so that meant the women's tag title match between Jax and Baszler and the Riot Squad had to be canceled, and Nikki Cross could not wrestle Bayley for the SmackDown women's title. What that means, it has not been specified. I would, and just like we were saying on Sunday, I caution everybody. This does not mean they are infected with COVID-19. It could mean they came in contact. It could be something else. Could have been something with training, for all we know. Just don't assume. Don't assume. Even if it was COVID-related, it could be, as we said. We just saw it. We just heard it today with the the Vikings. No, the Titans. Excuse me, Titans. Their facilities are shut down. Tennessee Titans and the Vikings. Yeah, because contact with a player that had tested positive, and now there's talk of what's going to happen with their games on Sunday. So this could be the same thing, and we know there have been some outbreaks in WWE, whether it's the main roster or NXT or whatever. So they had to move the SmackDown Tag Team title match to the pre-show, which anybody that doubted Cesaro and Sheamus. Man, this is what happens when you have to rush through prep. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, anybody that doubted that they wouldn't come out as champions still, just crazy. I was surprised they didn't pull the trigger on splitting the Lucha House Party yet. Now, we may see it on SmackDown, but
Maybe, but it's still like, what's the point? Like, what are you going to do with those characters once they split? Like, who's
Well-
going to be in line for a big push?
That's the question. It's the same question that we asked when they split the Iconics. Same question when we split. Well, we knew Bailey and Sasha were eventually going to split, but seemed like maybe they could have waited a little bit on that. Andrade and Angel Garza, for that matter, which and we'll have to get to that here in a second. But still, and it did seem like maybe they're going to have Kalisto go on a little bit of a heel run. What that turns into, we don't know. But still, anyway, still your SmackDown Tag Team Champion Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. I would think the match of the night, and I think a lot of people would agree, was the ladder match, triple threat ladder match. I'm going to ask you, because I kept seeing this on Twitter, and it was just driving me nuts. Do you know why they put both Intercontinental belts on the little thingy and raised them?
I see it as an homage to, well, I don't remember exactly the first ladder match.
Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
But you got it. Thank you. Why people didn't know that? Because I kept hearing, oh, maybe they're going to plan a swerve ending. Maybe they're going to do this. Like, people, it's not that complicated.
But did it not make sense? Does it not make sense in, like, storyline related ways? Like, he claims to be the champion.
Yeah.
The other person says they're the champion.
You do both belts.
So you put both belts up
Just
there.
like they did with Shawn and Razor. They did the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you didn't understand the story, like, I thought metaphorically speaking, like, literally speaking, it would have, like, the symbolism.
Yeah.
Because it's showing that, oh, both the people that are claiming they are the champion will win both belts.
Yeah.
Therefore, they are the true IC champion.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize people
You
were
did
actually
good.
talking about that.
You did good. No, it was, and you know, like I said, the fact that people didn't remember that, which means they have no clue what history is, or couldn't figure that out, and just had to go conspiracy theory, trying to be a bunch of Alex Joneses. See, he got his DWI charges dropped.
I did.
They just need to commit him. But anyway, Sami Zayn.
You're going to get a lot of hate mail here pretty soon.
If it's Alex Jones, bring it. I don't care. He makes Skip Bayless look professional.
I get you.
Sami Zayn. The finish. Now, that was creative. Handcuffing Jeff Hardy's earlobe to the small ladder.
Yeah. I was like, I knew he was
That
gonna
was.
win.
I mean, I gotta give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's a great performer.
Oh,
when
he
given the
is.
chance to do things like this, and I just had a feeling. I mean, I picked him to win. I just didn't know it was going to be this creative.
I didn't either, but it was fantastic. It really was. I was just impressed. So
Was that
but
match
hats
of the
off to all
night?
three. I think so.
I mean, do you find it? I mean, I find it somewhat amazing, somewhat insane, though, that Jeff Hardy is still taking, like, bumps the way that he's taking, even at this advanced stage in his career.
I was just saying on the YouTube stream earlier that it may have been Joe Roderick or it may have been somebody else talking about how Jeff Hardy at 43 is still doing all these crazy bumps that he's still doing. And I got to thinking about, the conversation that I got to have with Matt Hardy a few years ago, and they're getting close to 30 years in wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I'm like, your body just isn't designed to take that type of punishment and come away unafflicted. So,
well, you talk about the bump card all the time, and that's it.
Yeah,
In
but-
both of them, their bump card has to look like just,
but we've been around the old timers, and you see, and you know how when you get an advanced age, it's already difficult.
Yeah.
But then we see these guys that have, like, the swollen fist and the bad knees and the bad backs and having to shuffle because he can't walk, and it's just like, I've seen Matt where he's just like kind of waddling to walk.
he can't turn his neck.
Yeah, I can't imagine how he's going to feel in another 15, 20 years if he continues taking big bumps. I mean, that's Matt. I mean,
Yeah.
we just saw him take that nasty fall not too long ago.
At All Out, at EW All Out
So
against
it's just,
Sammy.
So it's just like, I understand. I don't mind Jeff doing his career. He's going to do whatever he wants. I don't mind him taking that type of type of bump, I just don't feel like it's necessary for like the Intercontinental Championship. I wish if he was going to take that type of bump, it would be for the world title.
I think that part of it is whether people see it or not. There is supposed to be a little bit of prestige with the IC title. That's supposed to be, we've always heard that was the workhorse title. And so there's that. There's also, I can't speak for Jeff, but I got to imagine there's that thing inside him that says, I'm linked to all these ladder matches, whether it be singles or tag team or the TLC matches or whatever. So I have to make sure and measure up to those. And that's got to be I got to believe that's in his mind. At least it was in his mind on Sunday night going into this match.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely outperformed most of what I've seen before in a ladder match. Once again, he just brought it to another level because it's just his specialty. I get that, and I can see where you're saying he has that legacy to live up to. So
Right.
he must feel, and again, I don't know, but he assumed that he must feel that he has to
Right.
go 11 out of 11 for that type of match.
Yes. He must turn it up to 11. And I'm with you. I hope that both he and Matt both realize maybe it's time to maybe at least take it down a notch. Maybe one or two less insane bumps. But
we say
I don't
that,
think that's going to happen.
We say that, but like Terry Funk was like way past their age and doing like insane things.
That's true. That's
And-
very true.
And while Jerry Lawler doesn't necessarily jump off of ladders, I mean, to be doing what he's been doing for 50 years, and the
Yeah.
fact that he only started wearing knee pads like
Mhm.
40 years into the
Yeah.
business, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. They just celebrated his 50th anniversary in the business.
Yeah.
Saw some pictures from that. I had talked to a couple people at the last SW Fury taping, and they were planning to head out for that. And from everything I heard, it was a great event. So, the rest of the card, it was. Were there any surprises that you had? Were you surprised Drew McIntyre kept the title?
No, I wasn't necessarily surprised. It was just like, oh, okay, how much longer is Randy Orton going to be
Which-
part of this storyline?
God, it's like, okay. And then, of course, Monday night they hinted it's probably going to be Drew versus Randy Hell in a Cell. And it's like, how many different ways can we tell this story?
Well, I mean, it can't be like Drew versus Keith. It would have to be a change and then that.
True. I think Keith Lee should have been world champion yesterday, but they're not going to put the world title on Keith just yet.
I think they still need to flesh out Keith a little bit more for the main roster. Like, everything is still a little jumbled. I mean, his look keeps on changing.
Yeah.
I think they finally settled on the music, it would seem.
Well, they settled on the music just because apparently they've yanked all of CFO's stuff. Like they changed the music for Aleister Black as well,
which is
which apparently was met with much derision on Twitter. But it happens.
well,
Copyright laws are copyright laws.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
that's a business move. I mean,
Now WWE not paying CFOS, but then again, if CFOS was trying to hold them ransom for some insane amount of money, then I guess I get that. We've talked about this before with other pay-per-views. So you had Asuka defeat Zelina Vega at the Clash. Turn around 24 hours later, let's do a rematch. Result, same. I get that we have to fill 3 hours. I get that we have to have content. You couldn't find another woman on the WWE roster that could have taken that slot just for the sake of having Asuka on there? You had to do a rematch?
it's tough to say. I mean, I really just do feel that COVID is probably affecting them. Obviously, they were short already a few female wrestlers.
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about before we even started off air, but on the live stream, it's just that, like, I'm giving people, like, a pass when it comes to making these matches just because we don't know what's going to happen next week.
And there were noticeable absences on Raw. and you got to wonder how that was affected. I get that. All in all, you had again Drew McIntyre. What'd you think of Roman Reigns?
That was excellent.
Finally solidifying. Now he is the bad man. He is the heel. He is the tribal chief.
I mean, is he really a heel though? He's only a heel because the WWE started piping in booze.
Okay, come on. You know as well as I do. You do certain things when you're trying to portray a heel. He was doing those things. Not to mention beating up his own family in Jey Uso. That was out and out heel.
I suppose.
Okay, you can cheer him. Everybody else, and a lot of people will cheer him. I get that. But he's a heel.
I think they finally realized, like, they went with the super slow burn, and now they're going to do the opposite of Kurt Angle, where they finally turned this guy heel, and now he's going to be loved.
Which, yeah, because it's always bizarro world. You know, the wrestling fans today. Again, that whole you don't have faces that people cheer, so why not? So let me ask you this: we know it's going to be Drew versus Randy at Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell's next pay-per-view. Who does Roman get?
Fiend.
Now?
If not now, then when?
Well, if you watch Friday night on SmackDown, we saw Alexa Bliss go full like fiend girl.
Exactly.
And as Roman and Paul Heyman are coming out, she turns around and glares at Roman. Roman doesn't even see her. He's just facing forward, holding up the title. Why not? Sure. I mean, now let's also understand we've got a draft coming up. So they did announce during the Clash, WWE Draft. It will start Friday, October 9th on SmackDown on Fox. It will continue Monday, October 12th on Monday Night Raw and USA Network.
When was the last draft? Do you know?
It was late spring last year.
Okay, so
They were supposed to do it in the summer, but again, COVID-19.
Gotcha.
They moved it to now.
I thought
we are going to have a control room.
Oh, for real?
Yes, we'll still have the control rooms for both Fox and USA. We will still see Cletus from Fox Sports. The woke culture guys couldn't figure out. They still don't know what purpose Cletus serves.
I don't think anybody does.
Well, I was going to send them a picture of me and Cletus together at Super Bowl 50 or Super Bowl 48 in New York. I had my picture with Cletus.
So what's Cletus's purpose? Just to
He's the
take pictures?
mascot. He's the mascot for Fox Sports.
Well, for all Fox Sports?
Yeah,
Even basketball?
I think so. Basketball, baseball, all of them.
I thought you just did the football.
Well, you see him primarily the football, during their NFL coverage, but in college, you'll see him in college coverage. But yeah, so anyway, we will have WWE Draft, which, okay, so Monday Night Raw, they're addressing the whole Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, still not medically cleared. The match with Riot Squad is postponed until they are cleared. Well, here comes Natalya and Lana out demanding that they should get the belts. And we have debuting, having been traded from SmackDown to Raw, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Hands if you saw this team coming. Not me.
No, I thought you did.
No, I'm being sarcastic. So a week and a half before the trade, and we see it. I know we see it in the NFL, but still. So week before the draft, you're gonna trade. You're gonna make trades. Now, I would be incredibly shocked if they said, "Oh, we're gonna put Dana Brooke back on SmackDown, or we're gonna bring Mandy back." Now, maybe they put Otis. Maybe they trade Otis to Raw.
Maybe.
Have him cash in on Drew instead of Roman. Because remember, Otis is still Mr. Money in the Bank.
Well, who would be... I mean, it just makes more sense that happened only for... I was going to say Randy Orton, but you don't have another bad guy, right? To win the Money in the Bank from him, and then that person try to cash in to take on Drew. But I mean, you see this in real sports all the time, though.
True.
I mean, people.
But we can't. Come on. WWE doesn't pay attention to real sports
Yeah,
unless
do.
they got somebody coming on the shows.
Exactly. I was gonna say, remember
It's
that?
like you say, you can't watch it as a real wrestling event. So
Well, I mean, wrestling event. You mean like a real sporting event? Because a wrestling event now just means like it could be any professional wrestling event.
I know. Anyway, we got to take a quick break. Real quick, Robert Roode returning to the Raw. Happy to see him.
Unexpected.
Unexpected. I was happy to see him.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I was glad to hear Glorious one more time.
I just don't know where he's going to fit in after this.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially you bring him back and he immediately loses to Drew McIntyre. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, NXT TakeOver. We've got another pay-per-view, but at least it's the gold and black brand or black and gold brand. Anyway, we'll talk about that coming up next on Sports Guys, talking wrestling on the Horn. All right. Write that one down. Trying my best to keep up with some times. Any other thoughts about Clash? Anything else you saw? Street Profits. Angel Garza out with a hip injury.
Yeah, I didn't want to see him get hurt.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. I hope he gets better. You saw Andrade basically throw him and Zelina Vega under the bus Monday night on Raw. So they split, they get back together, and they split again.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tag team division is pretty thin, so, I mean.
Really thin.
Yeah, but they realized that they needed a top-tier talent to go on.
Right.
And
I get it.
Like, that's the one thing. It's like, yeah, they have a lot of people on the card, but can they wrestle a WWE-style match within the confines of the television time allotted, and can they be consistently good performers? Because sometimes this stuff looks so bland because they're so consistently good.
Right. I totally get that. But it's what you just said about their tag team division is so thin, and you decide, in the first place to split them up. Before the injury, you decided you were going to split them up.
Yeah.
Which is like, again, it's the notion, however genuine it may be, that WWE does not care about tag team wrestling.
Well, I feel that's a little unfair in this regard, just because like the Viking Raiders are out because one's injured, right? So that goes one tag team. And then they try to break this one up, but then there's also COVID, so there's people that are not allotted.
Right.
So they didn't use them. I guess they could throw in some of the guys on the Hurt Business and make them a tag team.
I totally get that. I'm talking about historically. And I'm not talking about just this year. I'm talking in the last 5-10 years that it has been the popular opinion that WWE does not care about tag team wrestling. Heck, that's part of what AEW tries to focus on. They do that to differentiate. Easy for me to say. I have not been drinking, I promise. Differentiate themselves from WWE. Now it helps that you've got Nick and Matt as VPs, and they want tag team wrestling. They open almost every Dynamite with a tag match, and you've got just the litany of tag teams. It's kind of like Ring of Honor was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
with tag teams just coming out of your ears, and good ones too. So, all right, let's. Anything else you saw that came out of Clash that caught your eye? Did you like the touch with having the legends helping out Drew?
I could take it or leave it.
It tied a bow. If it was going to be the blow off, which WWE does not do blow off matches anymore. Let's just admit it now. But if it was going to be a proper blow-off match, then it would have been proper. Since it wasn't a proper blow-off match, it was, all right, whatever.
Well, it goes back to who is in line to be the big heel on Raw. Because...
Besides Randy.
Yeah, I'm asking who's the other person that isn't Randy Orton and that's the big heel on Raw. I mean, in a promotion, you got
Seth.
Okay, but he's already been champion many, many times.
He's been champion, and at least from what I hear, people are tiring of him.
And
Now maybe that's because he's doing his job right.
yeah,
But but I will admit, some of his promos tend to drag on. It's like, get to the point.
gotta fill that TV time. But I like his program.
I like the program. I just, like I said, they need to his promos. They're a little rambly, not Bray Wyatt family rambling, but they're still a little. Just it's like he just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
Well, yeah, he's kind of like Triple H. The show's built around him.
Yeah, and Triple H could have said, he could have done 5 words instead of 50, and got across the same point. So
Yeah, but I mean, when you gotta fill that time. But the question goes back though. So if it's not Randy, and if it's not Seth, if everybody's a bad guy in this company, who is the next main heel?
that's that's part of what I was talking about the other week with them not having any faces. You got too many heels.
Yeah, but who is the next big heel though? If it's not one of those two guys lined up for a championship opportunity, who would be the next guy? Because I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll be honest. I'm racking my brain trying to think of somebody.
So is it not necessarily a? It doesn't seem like it's necessarily an issue between faces and heels. It feels like it's more like a issue of just like who's a legit star or who is worthy of becoming a legit star that isn't Keith Lee. That would make more storyline sense to have this opportunity to face the world champion and like be like a viable threat.
If you're talking about top heels, you had Lashley as a top heel, but he's got the U.S. title right now.
And didn't they already have their program?
They did. You got Seth, you got Randy. Oh,
Was that like the end of their top tier heels?
I think it is.
At least on Raw, right?
I think it is, and this may be, maybe part of the problem with WWE doesn't create stars. Nobody's bigger than the brand, or nobody's as big as the brand. You don't have a Stone Cold or a Rock or Triple H or Undertaker or anybody like that. You got a bunch of guys that just plug and play type deals. So I don't know.
Stuff.
All right, let's do a takeover preview.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wade Barrett, and I'm afraid I've got some bad news. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. We got good news. We don't have bad news.
I was gonna say, did he bury us or did he put us over? I can't.
No, he
tell.
put us over. He put us over.
I was like, are we really that?
I
bad?
think he put us over. I don't know.
Either way, I appreciate it. Though.
Yeah, so
It's good to have him back.
it is good
In
to
the
see,
phrase.
Good to have him back. As commentary team with him and Vic Joseph on NXT. I've liked Vic for quite some time, going all the way back from when he was still Vic. I'm not even going to try to remember his real last name, but when he was doing commentary for House of Hardcore way back in the day. So NXT TakeOver 31. Yes, we got another pay-per-view, this time from the Black and Gold brand. It is this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the WWE Network. There will be a pre-show, I would guess, 1 hour prior. Right now, they only have 4 matches. And again, we're recording this on Tuesday night. So by the time this airs on the horn, NXT will have already aired, and they may have added 1 or 2 more. But right now, we got 4 matches.
The last takeover didn't have that many matches on the card.
They never do. They never have more than like 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I was like,
which is fine. I think that's the
perfect
almost
amount.
perfect length. The card looks like this. You have Kushida taking on Velveteen Dream. Interesting matchup.
Yes,
I'll be
very
perfectly
much.
honest. I'm rooting for Kushida.
Who isn't?
I still say Kushida is one of the best Super Juniors in the world, and I don't know. I feel like they've kind of lost their way with Velveteen Dream, whether it be because of outside circumstances or not. He's just not as relevant.
Well, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, but it might also be affecting his own performances as well, having
Could
to
be.
deal with this because it's just like any athlete. I mean, you're still human. You're dealing with other things that are distracting. It can be difficult.
That's true.
But unfortunately, from the allegations, he brought those upon himself.
If they are true, then yes, you're absolutely right. Damian Priest defends the NXT North American Championship against Johnny Gargano.
That should be fun.
That should be a lot of fun. Damian, he's such a good dude. I got to be honest, I was skeptical at first about this gimmick coming over from, being Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, but it fits him. It's cool. I like it. It's still the same moveset, pretty much. He's still got some, the cool moves, big man moves, that type of thing. So, I'm definitely rooting for Damian Priest.
He's been given a really big push.
He has.
Since he arrived, and like while Keith Lee and maybe a couple of others kind of went a little bit past him on that type of front, like Killer Croc and stuff.
Cross.
Killer Croc, the Batman character. Yes, still very popular.
Yes.
But like he kind of got lost in the shuffle there for a second.
Right.
But he's still a very viable like up and comer.
Yes.
That could be on WWE television for a really long time. And this is still him just kind of still ironing out some of those things that will allow him to be a more consistent performer.
Those minor details.
Yeah.
And it's like you just talked about. There's only so much room at the top. And yeah, NXT for a long time it was crowded between Keith Lee and Killer Cross and Adam Cole and whatever. So now we're starting to see Damian Priest kind of rise to the top a little bit. And I hope that rise continues. I really do. Getting to know him when he was in Ring of Honor is, I really hope for the best for him.
My big question is, and this can go out not just to you but to anybody.
Yes.
Does a champion of the mid-tier belt, like the Intercontinental
U.S., North American.
Like, does the champion that's holding that belt, do you feel like they have to lose it in order to chase the world championship? Or does it still make total sense, like the way that Keith did it, and you can stay the champion and win and chase the world championship or the top title? Because technically speaking, if you are the winner, if you are holding the mid-tier belt, you are technically supposed to be the number one contender for the world championship.
Well, if you go back to the old days, yes, that secondary belt was always supposed to be the number one contender for whatever top title there was. And that debate, it did rage on with Keith Lee holding both the NXT title and the North American title. It was talked about like back when Jay Lethal had the Ring of Honor world title and TV title.
Like, I've always been in the camp where it's, hey, if he's holding the belt, he can keep it and go ahead and vie for the championship. And if he wins it, either he holds both or he vacates it due to storyline.
See, that's in that. Okay, right now, perfect example. Tetsuya Naito has both the heavyweight belt and the Intercontinental belt in New Japan, and he's still carrying both belts.
Well, I mean,
so so there's that debate. Does he eventually drop? Just say I'm going to drop the Intercontinental belt, or do you defend both belts, or do you defend one belt and then the other? Like Seth Rollins did it with U.S. title and the world title on that occasion. He did 2 matches.
Yeah,
where he defended both belts. I think he lost the U.S. title kept the world title.
Yeah, and see, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's an awesome gimmick if somebody can actually roll with it, but that just kind of makes it seem like your talent's a little flat.
If you got the right talent that can handle 2 matches in a night like that and still perform at a top level, I kind of lean towards that. I say let them keep both belts, let them defend both belts.
Yeah, because it's kind of like weight classes almost to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Exactly.
You know, if they kept the lower weight class and then they
Exactly.
moved up, you know, if they can get back down to make the defense, why not?
Cormier did it well with the UFC heavyweight and light heavyweight belts.
That's true.
So, Io Shirai defending the NXT Women's Championship against Candice LeRae.
Good for LeRae to get like this opportunity to be.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Really has. So I'm happy for Candice.
But she's gonna lose.
Sadly, she's going to lose to Io Shirai.
Dude.
We're not going to get the husband-wife title tandem.
But Shirai is so good.
She is. Oh man, she's awesome.
I mean, do you think they're gonna move her up to the main roster? Can you imagine her taking on Asuka as opposed to teaming up with Asuka? Like, I would love to see them go at each other.
See, it's kind of what we wanted to see with Asuka and Kairi Sane, and they didn't. So I wonder if they move her up.
Man, I miss Kairi Sane.
Yeah. Hope she's doing well in Japan with her new husband. I got a feeling they're going to keep Io Shirai in NXT for a little bit. I don't think they're going to move her up just yet. It may be after WrestleMania.
You think Flair?
April.
You think when Flair comes back, that they wrestle and then
Charlotte?
Yeah, and
No.
then she beats her.
No. Charlotte. I hope not. Charlotte Flair being in NXT for that second time, I don't think it did anybody any favors, quite frankly.
No, probably.
It probably put a
didn't.
few more eyes on NXT and, got them the ratings on Wednesday nights. But outside of that, it didn't help the NXT wrestlers
Well, I guess we will find out where she ends up after the draft.
in the draft. Yeah. Which brand is she on now?
Exactly, though. That
I
brings up
think-
so many questions.
I want to say she's SmackDown.
Because she was Raw. No, because she would be on the same brand as Andrade.
She was on Raw. You're right. Yes, she was on the same brand as Andrade.
Because she was
Because
on
Becky
SmackDown.
Lynch was SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, Becky Lynch was Raw.
Yeah.
Because she gave the belt to Asuka.
Yeah. And then she moved. Yeah, because she made the retirement
So,
announcement. Like, she's going to step
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte
Okay.
moved over. And then
Okay.
they switched. Yeah, so, like, it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, she probably technically is a Raw, but then they were like, oh, she can go to any brand she wants. It's all good. She's the wild
Well,
card.
yeah, that was the thing. She had the NXT title,
Mhm.
which let her go, I guess, to all 3 brands for some reason.
Something like that.
So
are we going to have wild cards in this draft?
I pray God not. You mean after the draft?
I mean, it only makes sense because they're going to have this.
No.
They're going to have to move people around. You never know when people get hurt.
Well, that's
sick.
that's the draft. They'll pick certain people for those rosters. The wild card rule was after when you could say, SmackDown superstar could show up on Raw anytime you want. No, let's not do that. Let's look, if you're going to do that, then get rid of the brand split.
But see, it works in European football where they have a system where they loan players out for a season, and then the parent club gets to keep them, or they can let them just stay with the loan team.
I just learned that through Ted Lasso, the series, the
Oh,
comedy
you've been
series
watching
on.
that?
Yes,
Nice.
I like that show. I
Okay.
think Jason Sudeikis is doing a fantastic
But see,
job.
if they frame it like that, I don't think it's a dumb idea. It's like, oh, he's just on loan from SmackDown. That makes way more sense than saying wild card because that means that SmackDown has loaned you this wrestler for an allotted amount
Or
of time.
just do a trade. Just do a trade. It's wrestling.
Because SmackDown could take them back at any time that they want.
Again,
And it makes storyline sense that way.
okay. But
when you
then
trade
you got to do
somebody,
a trade. Then do the temporary trade. Do it both ways.
No, that's
SmackDown borrows a guy from or a wrestler from Raw. Raw borrows somebody from SmackDown.
But that's different than letting somebody go on loan. Letting somebody go on loan means that you just let the player go on loan and you receive nothing in return. Maybe financial compensation of some sort, but you're not getting a player
Yeah, but
back.
this is wrestling. We can do whatever we want. We can write it however we want.
Exactly.
You
That's
don't
why
have
could
to
just let
copy.
them, that's why I was saying you just let them go on loan.
I don't know.
You kind of see where I'm getting
I
at.
see what you're getting at. I'm not sure I agree with it. At least not for WWE. Because they got, again, it's not like a, we're not hoping Man City can beef up their defense by getting somebody from Fulham.
But sometimes
I only know those
There you go.
because I listen to you.
I was going to say that's really good. So
And Tony Khan.
they're both in the Premier League this year. So yeah, that's really, really good.
And Tony Khan. Because he owns Fulham.
Yeah, because
right?
I was going to say I think they have
Yeah.
a stake in Fulham, and
Yes.
they're both in the Prem this year.
Yes. So, and in the NXT, for the NXT Championship, Finn Balor defending against Kyle O'Reilly.
That's pretty awesome.
That's going to be a fun match.
Just because it's like, okay, is this going to be the moment where they break up? Is this the moment where, like, oh, if O'Reilly wins, then, baby.
It won't be
comes
the
out.
first time. It won't be the first time Kyle O'Reilly's been a world champion. Remember, he was Ring of Honor world champion twice.
Oh, I understand that,
So-
but it's just like it really just the storyline
Well,
possibilities.
you're asking if it will piss off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to see the tearing down of the wall, if
Yes.
you speak. That is the Undisputed Era.
Yeah. Do we see the Undisputed Era become disputed?
Are they the best stable in professional wrestling right now?
Definitely top 5, easily. I mean, just off the top of my head, I would say they're pretty damn close.
You got time during the break to think about that.
Yeah, we'll think about that. Just like we were talking about worst stables, let's talk about best stables. Think of it. So those of you that are listening on the Horn on Wednesday night, or those of you watching us on YouTube on Tuesday night, or you're listening to podcast any night, come up with the best stable that is active. And this is across, exclude New Japan, because New Japan does stables like nobody else. So exclude New Japan.
Yeah.
We know Chaos and Bullet Club and Suzuki Gun and all that. Not them.
LIJ.
Let's go American wrestling. In American pro wrestling, best stable right
So ROH, Impact.
now. Yes.
Is there one on the indie
MLW.
scenes we haven't heard of yet?
MLW, WWE, AEW. All right, so
NWA.
NWA. That's true. All right, let's take that quick time out. I'll think about that. When we come back, we do have a card to talk about this weekend in independent wrestling. Access TV is going to take a page out of WWE's WrestleMania handbook, and we'll let you know what football you can watch this weekend or listen to this weekend on the Horn. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to the Horn, where Austin talks wrestling. All right, 14:29.
So dang, you got a game to cover this week.
I do. Yay!
I didn't realize it was this week. I thought it was next week.
I get to go be on the sideline this week.
For real?
Yes.
Like they said, sideline.
As of right now.
They're gonna swab you and stuff before you.
Maybe
get
they
there.
will.
You're
I'm
like,
okay. Actually, if that means I get a test, all the better.
I know, for real.
So
It's not like they're just handing those things out.
yeah. So best stable right now. All right. So let's think for a second. Hurt Business, I'd say they're pretty good. They haven't quite gotten the success of Undisputed Era, but they're getting there. AEW Dark Order. Best Friends is technically still a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
Team Taz, they're pretty good.
I mean, they're no.
Heard Ricky Starks doing commentary on AEW Dark tonight.
That's gonna be good.
He was very good. He was very good.
Because I was like, that's
I
like his
now I kind of wish he had joined me and Eamon on commentary some of those Inspire shows.
I mean,
who
what
else?
about Inner Circle?
Hard to beat Inner Circle. They're for entertainment's sake, yes. Let's see. Ring of Honor. You got La Facción Ingobernable.
Mm-hmm.
Noble. You've got who else? I know there's at least one other stable in Ring of Honor.
Who's in Impact?
Impact, Rascals, because there's 3 of them.
I mean, all those guys.
You don't really have another stable in Impact.
Not right now.
Rascals about the only one, and we love the Rascals. I got to send them some spicy ketchup from Whataburger. MLW, you got Contra Unit, you got Team Filthy. You had the Heart Foundation, but
Yeah, you.
Who knows?
Nah, I mean,
I'm not sure any of them are left.
well,
Pillman, I think, might be the only. I think he's the only one still under contract.
it depends on how his contract looks.
Right, and
'Cause they're changing
and
their
he
contracts.
and he wants to go to AEW badly. Who else? You got Contra Unit, got Team Filthy, Promozione, whatever, Selena De La Renta's group, Dynasty, of course, Richard Holiday, Gio Medina, Hammerstone.
Those are some good. Those are some good characters right there too. But
Yeah.
I mean, but I still feel like Undisputed Era is like the top.
I
because
think you may be right.
they held all the belts.
Yes, they pulled the Horseman. They
Yeah.
pulled the Horseman trick.
But it was like it's legit. Like they are like a good incarnation of them because it's just like
They
all
are.
those guys can go out and work. Two of them can legitimately, well, three of them honestly can legitimately be top tier champions because they've already done it.
Yes.
Did all of them win the ROH title at one point in time?
Bobby Fish did not.
Right,
He's
he's
the
the
only
only
one.
one.
He's the only one.
So it's like technically you have like three guys that have already been to the top of a promotion that you could feel comfortable giving your
You
top
know,
tier
Fish,
belt to.
Fish and O'Reilly have ruled tag team wrestling for quite some time, but in Ring of Honor, New Japan. For that matter, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole did as Future Shock.
Yeah. So it's like all of them compared together. It's just like, man, I can't think of another stable that's like this where it's like you can just change out the parts and they can still beat pretty much anybody because they've have the experience.
As far as success and personality,
Yeah.
I would say they have gotten closer to being the Horsemen than any other stable in WWE. Because, yeah,
We didn't mention the Nightmare Family, by the way, but even
it's not really. It's not well, they're kind of a stable, but you know, because it's Cody, Dustin, QT, and Brandy.
But I was gonna say even then though, I mean this is just the hardware, talent, entertainment.
But you go to say, what's the stable with Triple H and Flair and
Evolution.
Evolution had gold, but it wasn't the personal connection wasn't as strong, I think.
I don't think it was a bad idea though. Like
It was a great stable. They're
Yeah.
they're definitely one of the better stables in WWE.
I was going to say for WWE that was definitely
Yeah,
one of the better stables that was
absolutely.
put together, and it made sense.
And it made sense.
Total
Absolutely.
sense.
I agree.
But these guys, yeah.
But yeah, to have a stronger the connection than Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong coming in at the same time.
yeah.
All four of them from the same promotion.
And
So all of them come from Ring of Honor straight to NXT.
And the big thing for me is that they're also like very similar in age.
Yeah.
As opposed to when the Horsemen were first formed, when you had Ole, who was already kind of way up there.
Right.
And then like with Evolution, where it was like, well, Hunter clearly is the guy or Flair.
Flair was the old.
Clearly is like
he
the
was the
old
older statesman.
hand.
Yeah.
And it's just all like, these guys are all like, they can all go. They're all a little bit younger. They're
And
all
I would
about the
say
same
Bobby
age.
Fish could have easily been a world champion. He held the Ring of Honor TV championship for quite some time.
Exactly. I mean, but it just kind of makes you feel like he's like the Arn Anderson of the group.
He might
It's
be. Yeah.
Like he
I
could
could
just
see
go
that.
with anybody. He can take a
Yeah.
title if you need him to. But man, they're just really good. Like
Yeah.
it would be a shame like they have to break up. But like if they got to the main roster, it would be really nice for them to form once again because the Shield were talented as a stable.
You know, just for sake of personal enjoyment, have Undisputed Era come up together and take care of Retribution.
That would be cool. See, I would pay to see that. Like if Retribution took on Undisputed Era,
I would pay to see that.
or if I would even take the Undisputed Era storyline and just apply it to Raw or SmackDown, let them take over one of those brands and just show everybody like, no, we're the real deal.
Yeah. I'd be totally okay with that.
And that'd be a good way to introduce a new player. So basically just reintroduce them the way that you introduced them the first time on NXT.
Bring them up together. Yeah. Kind of like what you
Man.
did. Kind of like what you did with Benoit, Guerrero, Saturn, and Malenko.
Or Radical style.
Yeah, the Radicals.
I guess this way you would hope that they would have all of them would get success instead of just
Yeah.
2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the
Yeah.
4. But I like what you're going with there. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah,
The only problem is like wouldn't that leave NXT pretty bare?
that would be a problem.
I mean, even with Finn Balor and Kushida and all those guys, it's like
Then
that stable
pull
presence.
Retribution back and bring them back as
Though.
their own.
Bring them back to NXT.
Yeah, take the paper plate off of Shane Thorne's head. Finally got his name, Shane Thorne, from TM61.
Yeah.
Or what was it, TMDK? I think that was their original name when they came from Australia.
Yeah. And then they changed it when they got here.
And now he's paper plate head.
See, if you watch it like it's just a television show about professional wrestling, it's way funnier.
Look, I get
it's
that.
like the Ninja Turtles.
If you go for the sheer absurdity, sure. Now I will be honest. I was splitting time last night. Actually, I say splitting. I was probably paying more attention to Chiefs Ravens last night. Super Bowl MVP or league MVP squaring off against each other. Hell of a game.
Yeah, I like football, but I just had no interest in the game because the Chiefs dominated. So I was just like,
they did.
Okay.
They did show their domination, but Lamar
the-
Jackson at least showed some of his brilliance. So it was good.
I don't doubt that from him, but he wasn't going to beat that team.
No,
Good
that's
that the
true.
Texas kid though scored a touchdown.
Yes, Devin Duvernay.
Dude, like my Twitter was going crazy. I was like, man, everybody talking about him. Okay, but
Yeah.
he's fast.
He is fast. He is fast. That's what we saw in the 40 acres. So, all right, let's do this last segment.
Hey, yo, this is Desmond Xavier, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. I miss the Rascals.
It's funny you were talking about them just
Yeah.
moments ago because we were still discussing that whole stable thing.
The stable thing, yeah. The Rascals still man in the treehouse, as smoky as always. I need to get them some spicy ketchup. Last time I talked to Trey Miguel, he wanted some spicy ketchup from Whataburger.
So let's throw it out there real quick though, back to the listeners, and whenever you listen to this or see this,
Yes.
at SGTW
ATX on Twitter.
Let us know your top 5 current stables that are
Current.
not in
Active.
Japan.
Active stables in an American wrestling company. That is WWE, AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, Major League Wrestling, and the NWA.
Yeah.
We forgot Strictly Business in the NWA.
Ah, that's right. That's right. But
Although, is it Royce Isaacs got released?
I think so.
So you're left with Nick Aldis, Tom Latimer, and Camille, who just got engaged. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
But I mean, Undisputed Era is still my top pick.
Yeah.
After we discussed it during the break, they're solidified my number 1 pick.
I think it'd be hard to disagree. So, this week in independent wrestling, not the stacked schedule that we had last week, but at least we got one little card, and I'm proud to mention this one. Texoma Pro Wrestling. They usually run middle of the week, middle of the month. This one is a special one. This Friday is a benefit for Terry Hopper. For those of you who do not know, Terry Hopper was Robert Langdon's right hand in Texoma Pro Wrestling. She passed away a few weeks ago, and Texoma Pro just lost a huge part of their promotion. So they're having a benefit to raise money for her funeral expenses. It'll be this Friday at Sherman Elks Lodge. Bell time 8 p.m. J.D. Griffey, Miranda Gordy, Cade Carson, and more. So that's Texoma Pro Wrestling, a benefit for Terry Hopper this Friday in Sherman. And that's a look at Independent Pro Wrestling this weekend. Make sure you get out there. Terry was such a sweet lady. She always come up to me to make sure I had, when I was doing ring announcing, so I could promote cricket or whatever else they were promoting. And she always made sure my non-ring stuff was all in line to make sure I said that. And she was such a sweet lady. And our hearts go out to Robert and Adam Asher and everybody with Texoma Pro losing someone like Terry, part of their family.
I mean, it's really sad, obviously, and this also just goes to show to you, besides just the people that work like in independent professional wrestling, the workers, the people in the ring, you
Right.
have so many people that make it work, the promotions, people that take time and take their time out of their life to try to help other people try to achieve their dream and give them a stage to perform on. And you can't get these things done unless you have people like Terry. So it's a very unfortunate loss. I know she'll be dearly missed.
That's true. By the way, huge thanks to Ray Campos and Steve Orino and everybody at AAPW for having me out as their guest commentator again this past week. Saw 7 great matches. Just some really good up and coming talent coming through their rings and learning from the greats over there, whether it's Steve Orino or Prince Adam or Ray. A lot of good action, and it's always a blast for me to go over to AAPW and take part in their show. So their next show is, I want to say, October 10th at the AAPW Arena. So make plans to be out there. Come join us. It's, like I said, it's a lot of fun. You BYOB. So if you want to bring a cooler, hey.
Just make sure they're cans.
Yes, make sure they're cans.
No glass.
And wear your masks, social distance, all that good stuff. But come out and have fun with us. Good time. We did the 10-bell salute to Road Warrior Animal. I got to say a few words. Those of you on YouTube, you see my T-shirt. You probably can't see my T-shirt.
That was the one that just came out, yeah.
Yeah, Collar and Elbow came out with this shirt. Both them and Pro Wrestling Tees have a tribute shirt for Road Warrior Animal. The proceeds will go to his wife, Kim, for funeral expenses. So Access TV has announced they are going to do Impact Week. The week leading up to Bound for Glory, which that will be on October 24th on pay-per-view.
That's cool.
So they're going to do Impact Week. It will start Tuesday, October 20th, with their regular Impact show. That will be followed by by Talking Shop, the podcast from Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. That will be on Access TV at 10 p.m. Eastern, immediately following Impact Wrestling. Then Thursday night, they will show a special called This Is Bound for Glory, getting you ready for the pay-per-view on Saturday. And they will do a live countdown show on Access TV leading up to Bound for Glory Saturday, October 24th. So go check that out on Access TV. Should be some great programming. I'm really looking forward to what they've got. They've already announced it'll be Eric Young defending the Impact World title against Rich Swann. Good Brothers will challenge Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact Tag Team titles.
It can be a mouthful.
Yeah. So that'll be those two matches right there. Should be good, and looking forward to see what else comes about. This weekend, we also got a lot of football on the horn. We got a full slate for the first time in a long time. High school football. Lake Travis is back. Start the season at Dragon Stadium in Round Rock against the Westwood Warriors. That game will be Thursday night. Pre-game, we think, is at 6:45 p.m. Kickoff 7 p.m. Central. That will air on the Horn 104.9. Mark Honig, Bucky Gottbolt in the booth. I think I'll be on the sidelines. We'll see. At least that's the indication as of now. But tune in. Lake Travis, Westlake. Lake Travis trying to go for that 7th championship.
What is up with Round Rock ISD and their 7 p.m. kickoffs?
I think because it's Thursday. They don't want the kids out quite as late.
No, but they always have 7 p.m. kickoffs. Even during their district slate, they always start earlier than everybody else.
You got me. Then Saturday, the Longhorns will host TCU. Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs coming to Austin. Kickoffs 11 a.m. Central. Longhorn game day starts at 7 a.m. with Chad Hastings, Bucky Guybolt on the horn. They'll go for 2 hours on the horn. Then the rest of the Austin Radio Network join them at 9 a.m. And then the network pregame 10 a.m. with Craig and Roger Wallace and Quan Cosby. And then kickoff, as I said, 11 a.m. all across the Austin Radio Network. That's the Horn, Coke FM, and the Spanish broadcast on 105.3 The Bat. And then the Dallas Cowboys, good Lord, they host Cleveland, the Browns, this Sunday. Kickoff at noon. You'll hear that on the horn. By the way, Baker Mayfield returning to AT&T Stadium Last time he was there, led Lake Travis to the 2011 4A state championship, beating Waco Midway.
I'm sure that this will be repeated by one of the commentators on
I hope
Fox.
so. Hopefully they'll show a clip. So
Hopefully
anyway,
he doesn't win, though,
well, I
on
hope he does.
Sunday.
Yeah, I hope he does.
But then again, how am I supposed to trust the Cowboys to win anything?
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Cowboys-Browns this Sunday, kickoff at noon on the Horn. That'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTWATX. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We are proud to be the official broadcast partner of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we're proud to be part of the great lineup you hear every day on the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns and your radio home in Austin for the Dallas Cowboys. We are The Horn. Catch us Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Central on The Horn, or catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com and click on the On Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast provider. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight. We will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
And there we go. Let's see. I didn't put in a New Japan. I did one before you got here, updating the G1. I think A Block wrestles in about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's
at Korakuen Hall in Tokyo.
which is good to hear.
Yeah. So that's always a good one.
I'm just glad they're back.
I am too.
I heard that match between Kenta and who did he face? They were just raving about it online, so I have to go back and see that match.
Oh,
but the one that Kenta was just in this
so
past
that would have
morning.
been
So yesterday, early this
absolutely.
morning here.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if Wrestling Observer has it. No, it's
Oh, it was Kenta versus Will Ospreay.
oh
So I have to go back.
no, of course that one would be a banger.
But yeah, everybody was just saying it was awesome. So I'm like, I have to go back and watch the highlights, at least the highlights, if I can't find the full
Yeah.
match. But I have to go back and see that one.
I'll have to check that one out too.
But obviously, with what they bring to the table each and every week, it's just like, or each and
It's
every time they
nuts.
go out, I'm just like, okay, it's like I got to see some of that.
It's nuts. So
And they're
did you hear they changed directorship?
Mhm.
So the current CEO of New Japan Pro Wrestling of America is taking over the whole company.
Yes.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the lack of a TV deal in U.S. We've seen what they've developed with NJPW of America, between NJPW Strong and Lions Break, the stuff we're seeing every Friday night on NJPW World. You wonder if that has something to do with it.
It's crowded market though. And what else are they going to bring different to the table now in a crowded market? Because I think NWA's production, especially during their power run, was fantastic, and obviously it didn't net them the television deal that they were looking for, because now they're on pay-per-view.
Well, that's going to be the interesting deal. Can they find a TV deal? We've been saying that for a year or two now.
You would think that since they are a more established promotion, with I mean, not to say the NWA doesn't have a deep history, obviously, but
New Japan's had a more recent history on television.
Exactly, and to have sustained success as a television product, and especially considering that they were probably, I think WWE kind of got back in front recently just because of the pandemic and stuff, and they were the ones that were running and everything.
Right.
But I mean, I think New Japan really was like the pinnacle of pro wrestling for at least 3 to 4 years, not too long ago.
The pandemic definitely kind of halted whatever momentum they had, especially in the U.S. I mean, they were supposed to do. I have to look at the button because I've got the button. Wrestle Dynasty at Madison Square Garden back in August.
Exactly.
And that got thrown out, along with all the other stuff that they had been planning. They just came back, beginning of well, I guess it was mid-August with the New Japan Strong stuff on, going from the venue where they do championship wrestling for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the pandemic stopped their momentum. They were rolling pretty well. You had the Super G1 Supercard with Ring of Honor. You had the opening night of the G1 Climax last year in Dallas.
But you know how we have, like, in WWE, everything has an era. So it's the Hulkamania era, New Generation, Attitude, Ruthless Aggression. I don't know what you're going to call this era that's coming up now.
COVID era?
Maybe.
But pre-COVID, what would you call it? I don't know.
I saw it as, like, the Shield era. Because all those guys were, like, those guys all became main event stars.
Or the Cena era.
Well, it was the end of the Cena era because he is the Ruthless Aggression era. So when that ended with Cena, I felt like, oh, we have to give it another name. I don't know.
I don't know.
New Generation's already been taken.
But you're right. New Japan kind of goes through that a little bit too.
And I felt that the last era, the big blow off for that era was when Omega wrestled Okada for the belt and lost it. And Okada got it back.
That would have been.
That was like the last. Was that a Dominion?
I think it was a Dominion.
But like that, like
because Okada then won the belt back at G1 Supercard from Jay White, ended that experiment.
That's right, because he made him champion. But that's what I'm saying. Like when I felt that New Japan was at its apex, like the highest, like the most popular it could have possibly been, was like at that moment with Bullet Club at its super peak because it had all the Americans.
With the Elite, yeah. You had the Elite as part of it still.
And everybody had the shirts. Like that was like massively over everywhere I went. Like it's died down a little bit.
It has.
I mean, there's still a great stable.
Well, again, they have no TV presence because no longer Access TV.
I know.
You don't have you did lose some star power, losing Kenny and Cody and the Bucks and those guys.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from what they've been doing recently. They've been doing some good work. I'm just saying that, like, wow, they were really at like a massive over peak where everybody had all their stuff. That was probably the apex.
Yeah, there was some crossover appeal with that.
Yeah,
where you don't have as much right now because the lack of it. You don't have the big American stars outside of maybe a Jeff Cobb, and
so
Jeff Cobb's unsigned right now. So
but that's what I'm asking is, like, do you think they just missed their window? You know, great teams miss their windows for championships because of sometimes the circumstances don't fall in the right place.
I don't know if it's missing a window or because I think there will be a window open again. I think New Japan always has an opportunity. They've just got to get back to whatever it was that they had. And it's going to be hard because, again, Kenny Omega's not walking through that door anytime soon. Now, there was talk after Wrestle Kingdom about, could AEW and New Japan work together? You had Chris Jericho there brandishing, Big Platinum during his match with Tanahashi.
I mean, you might, but who's that benefit? Especially if they're trying to enter the market. I mean, I can't see AEW wanting to give them
that's
that
the problem. I mean, and right now, at least before the pandemic, they had renewed their relationship with Ring of Honor, but I think it's going to take a little. It's going to take some work.
Do you think that's something that they should definitely reconsider? Is like being more of a presence on Ring of Honor television, because that was something that also helped on getting them pretty popular in the United States.
And I think they were getting there before the pandemic. Because remember, Ring of Honor shut down completely, just like New Japan did.
Oh, I understand, but I
think they're just now coming back.
But I think again, I just feel like it's like the window. It's like, oh, they were at their peak. That would have been the time to get the biggest possible TV deal. And now it's like, well, you're in the same boat. Not necessarily as the NWA, but you are in a Impact situation where it's just like you have no home, you have a great product. Obviously, you're still putting it out wherever you are from. But if you're trying to get the crossover appeal, you have you might be a step ahead because there is a streaming website that's set up, but that's still not going to give you the casual fan. It's not going to get you new fans.
Right. No, I agree. And it's more,
That's just geared towards people that already like professional wrestling.
It is. You're absolutely
But
right.
there's an opportunity to get a bunch of new people that have never watched it before, and this be their introduction to the sport, and be like, "Oh wow, I really like this."
Yeah.
And then they find out that's their style.
So the new CEO, the incoming CEO, Takami Obari. Again, he's the current CEO of NJPW of America. Let's see. Harold Mage, maybe, is the outgoing. He was appointed president in May of 2018, which that was right in the heart of what's going to happen with New Japan. You know, that was going into All In.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it was the height of New Japan and Ring of Honor's, you know, working together, going into All In. You had several big contracts coming up, you know, because we saw it, you know. So that's why I'm wondering if this Obari character will have any type of, like, any connection, or will somehow change what New Japan's been doing, especially when it comes to the American market. Because remember, that at one time that allegedly was a priority, was
That's
to
right.
grow their American fan base.
Well, they did invent the title, right? So
Right. We have a United States Championship.
yeah, I mean they were not to
Haven't seen it because John Moxley's too busy being AEW champion, but still.
What's the word I'm looking for? Because I didn't want to use the term invading, because they're not invading necessarily, but they are crossing over to the United States. They were running more shows. They ran Madison Square Garden. So
Ran the Garden. They ran Dallas.
So it's like you've already ran.
You had all those shows on the West Coast. You were doing the loop in the Northeast that Ring of Honor usually does.
So I was like, okay, they were already making a play to have their presence more known stateside,
And they were starting to surpass Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
It started with G1 Supercard, because remember, G1 Supercard, that's where it became, and I hate to say it, but it became glaringly clear the difference between New Japan and Ring of Honor.
But isn't that crazy how well Ring of Honor was able to bounce back when they were like on life support? It looked like they weren't going to make it. I was like, man, they have nobody on their roster. Everybody's old. What are they going to do?
They do that.
And
We've
then
seen
they
it.
somehow like just got good again.
They sign new talent. They get them. They make them into stars. Hey, Vince, look at Ring of Honor.
So you're saying
look at Josh Woods.
I was going to say
Hell, Fred Yehai just beat Silas Young in the Pure Tournament.
I saw that, right? I was like, hey, how cool is that? We've seen Yehai live many
Yehai
times.
sports our shirt, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, oh, man. I was like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Somebody that we know pretty well that wears the gear.
Yeah.
But
still,
I feel like if you say that, I feel like he'll just buy Ring of Honor.
I mean, well, there was talk. There was the whispers about, could Sinclair be calling Vince? You know, because they had just picked up all the Fox Sports regional channels.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, who knows? I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to be a discussion for a different day. So, we're going to sign off because it's late and I still got to do a little bit of editing. Plus, I got to wait. Jordan and Eddie haven't sent me their show, because I usually send their show in with our show, so it can go into automation, so you can hear it on the Horn airwaves. So still got to wait for them. So anyway, catch us next week. We'll recap Takeover. See what else is going on. Oh, by the way, if you are interested, if you're a college football fan, especially of the burnt orange kind, we are taping Longhorn Lowdown tomorrow night. Our guest is, I think it's Selvin Young. Yes.
Nice.
Selvin Young, former running back great, played with the Broncos for a while. We're going to talk to Selvin, see what he's up to. So that'll be available late tomorrow night, likely Thursday morning. Hopefully this time I'll figure out the video thing and put it up on YouTube as well. So check that out, Longhorn Lowdown on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast provider. But that's going to do it for us here. Again, thanks so much for joining us. For Justin, I'm Stu. We'll see you next week on YouTube Live.